Hi there, it's Simon from iJumpTV. You might be watching this on YouTube. You could also be watching it all sorts of other places. But YouTube, did you know it's the world's second biggest search engine? And recently, Karen Stocks from YouTube and Google Australia and New Zealand was here in the country, and I got to catch up with her and ask what are the options for marketers using YouTube. Here she is.
My name's Karen Stocks and I'm the Head of Media Solutions for both YouTube and Display for Australia and New Zealand. So we're the number 2 search engine in the world on YouTube. Oh, yeah. So a lot of people will go there, they'll search for, say, auto, and they want to be, they're interested in watching videos on cars, understanding things about auto. So if I'm someone like Mitsubishi and I've got a new product out there, I can do what we call promoted videos, which is very, very similar to search, but it's based on having a video instead of some text there. And what we call the browse page, so when you're just wanting to look through the channels. If you think of YouTube sometimes as a cable network where there's different channels, as you would lifestyle channel, you can browse through different channels on YouTube as well. We have different medium rectangle size ads that people can put their message there as well. And then I think the most engaging, the most targeted is the watch page, where people spend most of their time, and this is where they're watching either user-generated content or premium content. And there's different ways they can advertise, and they can target videos specifically, they can target demographics, they can target sites and get messages quite targeted. On that page there's a couple of options. We can do what we call in video with a companion ad to the side, and what we've just released in the market, which is quite interesting, is our in-stream product, where advertisers can do pre-roll. So for example, we had Gillette in Australia through P&G do pre-roll for any males watching, so we saw a lot of pre-roll happening activity on the shows, premium channels like Top Gear.
So is it like
and
through
IPL.
their user account you can tell if they're male?
Yes, yeah.
Right,
So if people log in, we can get that information, and then we can target specific ads. So if I'm on there, I don't really need to see an ad about a razor. Okay, so again, this is making ads more relevant to people. So the users, it's more relevant for the users there.
Great stuff. So a lot of talk has been talked about marketing now about the need to be more engaging. So you mentioned some of those campaigns, big brands, and yet they're getting into engagement because it's more as possible. What are some examples? For example, you mentioned Volvo there, and you mentioned some of the movie trailers. What are the specific ways that they're actually engaging with the audience?
So I think if we look at what they did on Volvo, on the masthead, they did things like had a live Twitter feed within the masthead, so people could engage via the Twitter application. They also had movie videos of their car, and then they also had a basically online catalogue where you could go into the car and look at every angle. So it was very, very engaging for them. We've seen Sony PlayStation put out a masthead shaped like a PSP, and then have the game Gran Turismo playing in the masthead, so people can kind of engage. We've had TikTok do some really interesting ones in Australia where there's games built into the masthead, so it's not just sitting there watching an ad. You can actually engage with the brand and feel what the brand engagement's like, and get that emotional connection.
Very cool. That's great. How about if a brand wants to actually start its own YouTube channel and really leverage that, like they're creating great content in the first place? What are their best steps to do?
Okay, if you're a brand and you've got great video content, put it up there. It's easy, it's free of charge. You can just create your own brand, your own user channel, and put all the information up that you want. The best practice with that is making sure it's really engaging, making sure it's interesting, and you're not just dumping. It's not a dumping ground. The big thing after that, though, is there is a lot of stuff. So 24 hours of video are uploaded on YouTube every minute. Every minute. It's mind-boggling. So if I'm a marketer and I'm putting my stuff up there, I'm asking, how are people finding? So then that's when things like paid advertising and promoted videos can come into play to help people find your advertising. Some of that happens by word of mouth. So the Evian Babies is a very, very good example. They created a brand page. They ran a homepage advertisement on 6 different countries, got 2 million views in one day, but then the viralness of that spread that to quite a considerable amount. So that's not going to happen with every video. So you need to just make sure that you can put content there, but you need to make sure people can find it somehow. And that could be through YouTube, it could be through any of your other advertising or applications that you point people there.
Cool, great stuff. So that's part one of Karen's report. We often talk about non-advertising ways of using social media, but it doesn't mean that you can't do paid advertising. It sometimes works really well with them together. So next week, we're also going to play the second part of this interview with Karen, and she's going to talk about trends and also news in this area, including some of the world-class examples that have come right here in New Zealand. I'd love to hear your comments. What do you want to know about YouTube? So iJumpTV has been brought to you by Sci Social Media Consultancy. Check out what we do at sciengage.com. And if you want to find out what's happening in social media in New Zealand and around the world, visit ijump.co.nz. Thanks, and see you later.